How you been? What's up? Long time no speak.
I know. I've been good, just working in the house,
In the
trying
house.
not to get the cootie.
I feel you.
Staying away from,
Huh?
staying away from people as much as possible. But
I feel you. I feel you. Are you thinking about getting the vaccine at all?
literally, my friend just texted me that. I think I'm down. Like I don't feel either way about it, but I don't feel like doing the research to like figure out how to do it and get on a list. So I know it's mad like nigga shit, but my best friend is a woman and she'll probably get it. So I'll wait for her to get it to tell me how to do it. So
I got the first one, but my like regular job, I work for homeless youth in Baltimore City. So we're like an essential company. So then they asked me, it was like, to me, do you want to get the vaccine? And this is like January. I'm like, let me like get like a little wait time just to see how like things go. And then last week they was like, we have some openings. You want to go? And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I was like, let me go.
And I guess there's like extras that you could just get if you like on a waiting list. Like that.
Mm-hmm. It's just really, I know my sister, she's out in New York and she's like, it's damn near impossible for her to get one. So I don't know. Hopefully they get it out enough time. I have my second one scheduled in 2 weeks, but it was fine. Like the most,
It hurt?
my arm hurt for like 2 days, but it wasn't nothing unbearable. Like it's just like it was sore and I couldn't really sleep on it, but that was 2 days. Everyone that I know, they said the second one is the doozy. Like that's the one where it's like you get all your symptoms and whatnot. So I don't know, nervous for that one, but I need to be outside, so I'm gonna take it.
But my life has, I mean, it's changed because everybody else's life has changed, but like, I don't want to be the only nigga outside. So it's like, I guess I need everybody else to take it too. So I can have some fun, but.
Might as well jump into it and let's just get into it. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So I want to know how the interlude came about, because I noticed that in your book, your favorite saying, not even just in your book, like all over the places, like you weren't supposed to be a writer. And I'm just trying to figure out how, because you have a book. So clearly you were supposed to do it. So how did that kind of get started?
Honestly, I was reading this yesterday and just not forgot that I did it, but it's just like once you've been removed from it for like a time period, it's like, who wrote this? But it's like, when I wrote this. But how? I started writing roughly 3 years ago, I think. I broke up with my girlfriend and it really gave me something to do, I would say, but also as an outlet. But also I had like, I lived in Baltimore. I moved from New Jersey to Baltimore. And that time I was, again, looking for hobbies. I had a girlfriend at that time. And writing was one. So I dibbled and dabbled I drew all types of stuff. But once we broke up, it gave me an outlet really just for my feelings and stuff that was on my mind. Just to pass the time as well. So that's the beginning. But honestly, my friend Robin kind of pushed me to write the book. I don't make promises, but I messed up and made a promise, like I'll publish a book by the end of the year. And I don't lie, so I had to do it at that point. So she really pushed me, and I started writing every day, and I did it in the span of like 6 to 9 months, honestly.
Oh, wow.
So once I started writing every day, it kind of like wrote itself to a certain degree. Yeah.
So were you so it's like I write music, and for me, like it's more so of a thing of like when it comes to me, it comes to me. So is your poetry like, do you write that way, or do you kind of like flesh out a whole idea of like, this is kind of something that I want to write about, let me go from here? Or is it like you're sitting and you're just like, you think of something and you just write it?
As crazy as it sounds, and I guess I am a writer now, I would like be asleep and in the middle of the night I just wake up and like take my phone. I used to try to remember them, but I just grab my phone and write my little notes, or I'm at work in a meeting and something just pops into my head, or like a line, or I just start comparing things. But yes, it just comes out of nowhere sometimes. But sometimes I just come up with a conversation I'm having, or a color or a song. I remember, I think it was one of Summer Walker's song, one of her lines in that, and I think she started "In a Perfect World," and I just kind of just ran from there. I was like, oh, what would it look like? And I have a tendency to always write about love, so it was just easy to just flow off of those few lines and just create something out of nothing. So, yeah, I want to learn how to write music, so you need to teach me how to do it.
I could teach you. It's really not like I'll talk to my cousin. She plays ball, so she's like, I don't know how you do that, and I'm like, you just write stuff. She's like, I don't know how to do that. She's like, you make it sound like it makes sense, and I'm like, you really have to. I've been writing since I was like 13. So
Really?
song, I still have my songbook. The first song I wrote, I still have it, and it sounds a hot ass mess. Like it's so like you know the meme they have when it's like someone producing, it's like and they like that's what the song lyrics look like. But like over time, like kind of how you say, like I'll be asleep, and in the middle of the night I'm like, oh, and I got to a point where like I kept doing that, and I'm like, oh, I'll remember it in the morning, and the next morning I'm like, fuck, I'm like, what was my song? I'm like, I can't remember my song. So I got into the habit of just recording like voice memos and writing it in my notes, and that's just kind of how it happened. I still right now, so hopefully I release something. My friends are begging me, and I'm just like, look, one of these days. One of these days.
It gets easier over time. Is it not? I guess easier, more natural. You don't fight it. Like, I don't even know what this is, but now it's just like whatever.
Yeah. What would you say your most like difficult aspect was when it came to writing the interlude?
I guess it was, and it still is, like the whole idea about self-doubt and fear and just second guessing when I'm writing. Will anybody else like this? Does it even make sense? Because I'm a very pragmatic individual, so whatever I write has to make sense. Like 1 + 1 has to equal 2.
Right.
And I write in that fashion, but also different cadences or different topics. Just in reference to that, hey, is anyone interested in reading what I have to say or whatever it may be? But I think I write from a relatable standpoint in certain instances, and hopefully, if one person can understand it, then great, right? So I think that's the biggest thing. That still, it doesn't go anywhere, no matter what I write. Does this make sense or does it not? Just that second guessing piece was the biggest thing. But honestly, working through it was also the second biggest thing. Was like, oh shit, I can actually do this. This book came literally out of nowhere. And it's just weird to have 100+ pages of stuff that I just pulled out of thin air, so to speak. This was my whole life, so it was pretty interesting.
That's what's up. So like early on in the book, because I'm still reading it, and it's so funny because like I'll read it and like we met, so it's weird. So I'm like, I'm reading and I'm like, I'm hearing your voice. I'm just like, this is funny. But one that stood out to me for sure, if you don't mind me reading it, I can read it. Okay, one that stood out to me is early on, very early on. It's like, I secretly want to keep all of my work to myself. Then I consider why God would have awarded me seeds if not to plant ideas within others. And that one stood out to me the most because I feel like the purpose of this platform, I didn't explain to you, sorry. The purpose of this platform really is to give people who are creatives of all aspects a place where they can just showcase their work. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to being creative is something that you just said, is really having that self-doubt and being unsure of yourself. And a lot of us, I think we forget, and we tend to go to this area of like, well, what if I'm not good enough? Or like, well, what if people don't like it? And you think about it, it's like, well, I wouldn't have this ability if it wasn't meant for me to share with other people, you know, however that might be. So I think you writing this book is amazing. I can never write a book. I think it'd be a hot ass mess, but I can do some songs, but not a book.
I stretched that premise across my entire life. Like my day-to-day job, like I'm not supposed to be here, or I played football growing up in college, or I'm supposed to play football because that's what everybody thought I was supposed to do. Just the idea about going to college, again, that's what you're supposed to do after you graduate high school. And like, why would I be in this position? Why would I have this stuff if I wasn't supposed to use it? But I just realized, like I said, if one person gets it, if it connects with one individual, gives a person a break from reality for, again, 5 minutes, then why not? I guess it's worth it. I could be doing worship with my time than sitting down writing, you know what I mean? So.
Well, I see a guitar back there.
See, remember the hobbies that I was telling you about? They have long range, being, again, quarantined. So again, in the beginning of even quarantine, it was like, oh, I'm used to this because I don't go outside anyway. I just be by myself. But when I moved to a whole new city by myself, didn't know anybody. So I was like, all right, let me just pick up some things. So I bought a ukulele and a guitar and all types of shit. So
just went with it. Like, look, we're going to either figure it out or it's just going to be pretty background. No, that's what's up. So I know that you have a clothing line, right?
I forgot about the seed. Yes. So you
go into that a little bit more.
Well, just design. I think it started with my creative pieces. Like I used to draw growing up. I used to want to be an architect, but then I took like one class in like shop class in math. Math wasn't math for me. So I was like, you know what? Scrap it. So I always drew, and I love clothing. I love design, and just putting stuff together. So that's what that sparked out of, which, funny enough, I guess segued into the writing. Mm-hmm. But just the idea behind Crux it's literally the most important part of any argument. So I wanted it to be the most important part of your outfit, whatever it may be. But that sparked in my head 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever it may be. But I totally forgot about that one.
I just forgot I had another business. Casual.
Casual was a thing. Wow.
No, that's cool. I always ask because I'm curious of like if people have any other avenues that they explored. So have you explored anything? I know you said architecture, but like anything besides like anything creative? Have you ever wanted to do anything that dealt with like science or?
I've never been a science person. I love social studies growing up. I work in finance now, so now I work in sports and entertainment. So it's a segue or a meshing point between my sports background and my love of finance, or just teaching financial literacy in reference to the disenfranchised environments and communities that we grew up in. So that's where I'm at now. But in reference to science or anything like that, no. But also I push towards, I guess, school and football, because that's, again, that's what my brother did. That's what my family did, right? So you're supposed to do this rather than, I could always write. I could write the hell out of an intro paragraph. But like, why? I hated writing like the 20-page papers or 10-page papers. Like I could say what I need to say in 2 paragraphs. So what is going on? So it was when I kind of shied away from it because, this is weird or not natural. Or I love music, but again, you can't be in the marching band and play football. So it was like, get me to school.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was one of those situations.
You can get a scholarship for marching band.
I know.
You said it like you heard that before.
I know I can run, so it's a little bit easier here.
Yeah, I definitely would have been marching band. Yeah, sports was not my thing growing up. My parents tried. They tried. I was like, look, I'm an artist. I don't do the sports. Like, I had to tell them, like, we ain't getting in that way.
Options.
Yeah. So what would you say your biggest inspiration is overall?
I think I'm really, when it comes to writing, and oddly enough, the subtitle is an ode to the spaces in between, but I love like gray areas of life or everything, the things that go unsaid, like everything you wanted to tell that person that you were too scared to, or you couldn't find the right moments. That's the shit that really interests me, like the whys behind that. And I guess those in-between moments, really, I love those, the what ifs. I'm a what if, coulda, woulda, shoulda type of guy when it comes to thinking, because I'm just an overthinker. So, but I think that the magic and the real creativity lies in those moments, because again, you can just fill in the blanks of what you want.
Right.
Like that, but also, my house is like right next to the water, so I look at the water all day. So I don't even know what comes to mind, but like water helps.
I look at the water all day. Ooh, bougie.
Water's calm. It calms me. So yeah, we're looking at
As you sipping too. What you sipping on?
This is Douce, honestly, and I haven't had.
What is today? Wednesday. On a Wednesday.
Quarantine has changed me a lot, honestly.
No, I don't blame you at all. I've picked up other habits, so to say. Maybe not so much alcohol. We all know what happens when I get too much alcohol and I get a little upset. So we try to stay away. So have you actually, speaking of that, have you done any traveling since then?
I've been just back and forth to LA and California just to visit some friends, but nothing major at all. And like the Poconos in Pennsylvania, just for
just really like national stuff, so to say. Yeah. So what is your favorite aspect about traveling?
I love, I'm not gonna say that I sit here and get fully immersed into the culture, because I am a little Americanized.
Yeah, I like resorts now though.
I like indoor plumbing. I love me some AC and some heat, honestly. But I love, I guess, stepping out and experiencing it. Like I went to Croatia, I think last year, 2 years ago, and I'm going again in August sometime. But I never forget, I saw the sunrise like in another country, just being on a yacht for 7 days, something that no one that I know personally, my family has ever done. Just seeing, again, something from the opposite side of the world, and just walking through the city at like 5 o'clock in the morning and smelling the fresh coffee being brewed and stuff like that, but really just taking in the sights, which also helps me write more and just take in and really be present in those really, really interesting moments. But the mosquitoes were absolutely ridiculous.
Oh Lord. That's how I tell people, there's always beauty in traveling, but y'all gotta remember there's little things that they get you. Because I remember when Antigua, actually, I got tore up, my arms, my legs, my back, my stomach. I'm like, how did you get my stomach? I had on a full shirt. Like, they're different beasts for real. But speaking to when you said you saw the sunset from like a different perspective, I spoke with a friend last week and he was talking about his travels to Japan. And I asked him, I said, well, how long is the flight? He's like, I'm not gonna tell you. He's like, I'm not gonna tell you. He's like, you just have to understand that when you get off the plane, he's like, you feel like you entered like a different realm. He's like, the air is different, the culture is just different. He's like, it's really different. And I think that's the biggest thing that I appreciate about being able to travel and experience different cultures, is that you really feel different when you're getting perspective from another part of the world. Because you think about it, this is new for you, and then you realize like these people live here. This is their norm. So it's like, this is what you see every day. This is crazy. So I really enjoy that like the most about traveling. And I definitely think it really plays well into creativity, because it just sparks something. I don't know what it is, but God did his job with certain places. He did his job. So it's really cool. What else do I want to ask you? I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. Real short or brief. Anything upcoming?
Upcoming. I think no, just this book. Honestly, I may do an audio version of it, but that's really it. Because I think some of them need to be experienced verbally. I try to write things in a certain cadence or emphasize certain words. So I think that needs to be experienced. But I wrote it. Another reason why is to sit on my mom's coffee table, just so she can. Hey, my son did this. One of those situations.
Right.
But I think it can really be enjoyed furthermore on audio via some headphones, as you walk through the summer cities or whatever.
ASMR. You have to do one like that. That's the only way. Come on, I'm telling you. You're gonna make bank. You gotta sell it. No, if you do it, remember this video. It's going up. So if you do it, I'm gonna let everybody know. I'm gonna be like, hey, watch this video, is my idea. So if you're stuck on an island, what are 3 things that you for sure need to bring with you?
Wow. Do I have electricity, or is this like a...
No, you on an island. It's just sand, water, sun, and trees.
I can bring electricity with me, is that it?
If you want to, go ahead. Bring electricity. You gonna bring a generator?
If I'm on an island, 3 things that I need to have with me. I don't like this question. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't think anybody does, but it's a good question.
Wow.
Your generator, that's one.
I want to cheat and say like an airport, but it's just like I guess I can't do that. So I can
it's a small island.
Small.
You can't to the airport.
I can't get all. How long am I? I'm gonna ask you mad questions. I'm just gonna answer the question.
Okay.
On an island, 3 items, period.
You're there for 6 months. There you go.
Oh my goodness. 6 months.
Yep.
Okay, so first 6 months worth of food. I'm not hunting or murdering anything, so I won't make
store it.
6 months worth of food. Well, like berries and shit. So I mean, or like astronaut food. I could do that, right? An astronaut, drop some shit off, and I'm good. Okay. So astronaut, 6 months worth of astronaut food. So at least I can survive. I think I can drink the rainwater. I was watching Castaway the other day, so I'm good on the water. 6 months worth of books to read, I would say, since I don't have any electricity. And 3 of my friends, I would say, to be there with me.
You sure?
Yes, because we can ration the food out. My good friends, not my bad friends. Maybe my short friends too, because they eat a little bit less than my big friends. So that's it. That's my.
Bring the little people along.
That's it.
I just thought of one because it would make sense for me to ask. So you said your astronaut food, you could get rainwater, your friends, and books. So astronaut food, your friends, and books.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, that's good. I want to ask this again in 6 months and see what the answer is.
I'm gonna be ready because I'm gonna sit here as soon as we hang out. I'm gonna sit here and think about it. So
I'm gonna ask for sure. The last quick question, because I just feel like I should ask it and I'm mad I didn't ask it. Besides yourself, you as an author, pretty much, who would you say is your favorite writer, if you have one?
Favorite writer. I like Malcolm Gladwell. The way that he writes, the investigation, the detail that he goes into. and just the ideas or the random shit that he thinks about as he's writing, but really the detail and the shit that spawns from it, because it makes me think more, and I just love the thing. So I really appreciate his work.
That's cool. All right, so that's pretty much it on my end. You have any questions for me? I don't think so, but why not? Go ahead.
Yeah, we're here, right? What's the goal of your platform, or what's
creative? Yes. So I really I graduated in 2019 with a degree in mass comm and PR, and I really wanted to get into obviously like doing media and entertainment and all of that. And I graduated right into a pandemic, so it's been hard. And I just saw a study yesterday that said that Black women were actually hit the hardest when it came to the job market. So I was like, I can attest to that. So I said, instead of searching for some place to work, why not just create my own? I was just like, I want to create something for people to really come on and just showcase their work. I've spoken to people who are painters, I've spoken to musicians, I've spoken to dancers, and it's just, being able to connect with different people and learn about their creative process and learn about the different ways that they've come about with their art and their work and whatnot, and just see how I fit similar as a creative, but then also how they could possibly connect with someone else I've interviewed, because you never know who you might talk to, who you might find, anything like that. So really that's really it. I just really want people to spread their wealth and share.
So is your creative medium, you think of communications or connecting people, or?
Yeah, so it's that. I write music. I promise my friends, I promise one of these days, this year, I'm gonna release music. But it's for me, like, if I'm gonna release music, I want the whole shebang. So like, I want a photo rollout, I want music video, all of that. So trying to do all of that during quarantine by myself mainly, and just trying to connect with different people, that's been like my biggest challenge, but still doing it because I just like to write music, and I know for a fact that like, I just want to do it once, all of that, at least once, to say I did it. And then if after that I become somebody's ghostwriter and you just send me the check, I'm A-okay. Like, I don't have to be in the spotlight, none of that. I just need people to know that I can write and give me my check, pretty much. Because songwriters, those are the ones with the money.
So you sing as well?
I sing as well, yes. Please don't ask me
I
to.
do what I will not do, so.
You said what?
It's one thing I cannot do what I will not do, but
I think
you guys.
I tell everyone that I feel like you can at least hit a note if you train and you get your voice, work. The voice it's a muscle, so you have to train. You have to work it out too.
I'm hearing that, but
you're not rocking with it.
I've been watching like Teddy Pendergrass shit and
come on, Teddy Pendergrass, like that's a whole different ballgame. That is, God was like, here, like this is yours. That's pretty much it.
Perfect. Thank you again. I really
no problem. I will continue reading the interlude, and when I get to the end, I will have another conversation, because I'm telling you, I'll be reading it and I hear your voice and I laugh. It's just so funny. But it's really good, and I'm proud of you, and it's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.